Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritta Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiret. Shrunuvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridayanto Stohi Abhadrani Vidhunoti Surutsatam Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Hare Krishna, a reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 15, verse number 11 to 16. तस्याभिषेक आरब्धो ब्राह्मणैर् ब्रह्मवादिभिः अभिषेचनिकान्यस्मै आजुः सर्वतो जनाः. Synonyms. Tasya, his, Abhishekaha, coronation, Arabdaha was arranged, Brahmanaihi, by the learned Brahmanas, Brahmavadibihi, attached to the Vedic rituals, Abhisheknikani, various paraphernalia for performing the ceremony, Asmai, onto him, Ajaruhu, collected, Sarvataha, from all direction, Janaha, people. Translation. The learned Brahmanas who were very attached to the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies then arranged for the king's coronation. People from all the direction collected all the different paraphernalia for the ceremony. Thus everything was complete. Text number 12. Sarit samudra girayo naga gavaha khaga mrugaha dyoho kshitihi sarva bhutani samaja hurupayanam. Synonyms. Sarit, the rivers, samudraha, the seas, girayaha, the mountains, nagaha, the serpents, gavaha, the cows, khagaha, the birds, mrugaha, the animals, dyuhu, the sky, kshitihi, the earth, sarvabhutani, all living entities, samaja ruhu, collected, upayanam, different kinds of presentation. Translation. All the rivers, seas, hills, mountains, serpents, cows, birds, animals, heavenly planets, the earthly planet, and all other living entities collected various presentation according to their ability to offer the king. Text 13. Sobhishikto Maharajaha Suvasaha Sadvalankrutaha Patnyarcheshalankrutaya Vire Jagnirivaparaha. Synonyms. Saha, the king, Abhishiktaha, being coronated, Maharajaha, Maharaja Prathu, Suvasaha, exquisitely dressed, Sadhu Alankrutaha, highly decorated with ornaments, Patnya, along with his wife, Archisha, named Archi, Alankritaya, nicely ornamented, Vireje appeared, Agnihi, fire, Eva, like, Aparaha, another. Translation. Thus, the great King Prithu, exquisitely dressed with garments and ornaments, was coronated and placed on the throne. The king and his wife Archi, who was also exquisitely ornamented, appeared exactly like fire. Text number 14. Tasmai jahara dhanado haimam veeravarasanam varunaha salilastravam Atapatram Shashi Prabham. Synonyms: Tasmai, onto him. Jahara, presented. Dhanadaha, the treasurer of the demigods. Kuvera. Haimam, made of gold. Veera, O Vidura. Varasanam, royal throne. Varunaha, the demigod Varuna. Salilastravam, dropping particles of water. Atapatram, umbrella. Shashi Prabham, as brilliant as the moon. Translation. The great sage continued, My dear Vidura, Kuvera presented the great King Prithu with the golden throne. The demigod Varuna presented him with an umbrella that constantly sprayed fine particles of water and was as brilliant as moon. Text number 15. वायुश्चवालव्ये जने धर्मः कीर्तिमयि सृजम् इन्द्रः किरीटम् उत्कृष्टं दण्डं संयमनं यमः. Synonyms: Vayuhu, the demigod of air. Cha, also. Vala Vyajane, two chamaras made of hair. Dharmaha, the king of religion. Kritimayim, expanding one's name and fame. Srajam, garland. Indrai, the king of heaven. Kiritam, helmet. Utkrishtam, very valuable. Dandam, scepter. Samyamanam, for ruling the world. Yamaha, the superintendent of death. Translation. The demigod of air, Vayu, presented King Prithu with two whisk chamaras of hair. The king of religion, Dharma, presented him with the flower garland which would expand his fame. The king of heaven, Indra, presented him with the valuable helmet, and the superintendent of death, Yamaraja, presented him with the scepter with which to rule the world. Text number 16. Brahma Brahmamayam Varma Bharati Haramuttamam Harihi Sudarshanam Chakram Tatpatnya Vyahatam Shriyam. Synonyms: Brahma, Lord Brahma. Brahmamayam, made of spiritual knowledge. Varma, armor. Bharati, the goddess of learning. Haram, necklace. Uttamam, transcendental. Harihi, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sudarshanam Chakram, Sudarshan disc. Tatpatni, his wife Lakshmi. Avyahatam, imperishable. Shriyam, beauty and opulences. Translation. Lord Brahma presented King Prithu with protective garment made of spiritual knowledge. Bharati Saraswati, the wife of Brahma, gave him transcendental necklace. Lord Vishnu presented him with a Sudarshana disc, and Lord Vishnu's wife, the goddess of fortune, gave him imperishable opulences. Purport: all the demigods presented various gifts to King Prithu. Hari, an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead known as Upendra, in the heavenly planet, presented the king with a Sudarshana disc. It should be understood that this Sudarshana disc is not exactly the same type of Sudarshan disc used by the personality of Godhead, Krishna or Vishnu. Since Maharaja Prithu was a partial representation of Supreme Personality of Godhead's power, the Sudarshana disc given to him represent the partial power of the original Sudarshana disc. नमां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 रामा राम रामा हरे हरे. I would like to seek the blessings from all the assembled Vaishnavas and thank you for giving me an opportunity to purify myself. Please forgive me for any shortcomings. So sages, they are speaking about Prithu and Archi, and the male Prithu is the plenary expansion of the power of Vishnu who maintains the world, Bhuvana Padim, and the female Archi is the plenary expansion of Lakshmi, who is never separated from the Lord. Prithu is the first among kings, Prathamo Jnanam, and his reputation will expand widely. That's why it's called Prithushravah. Archie endowed with the beauty that beautifies the ornament she wear and accept King Prithu as her husband. In the form of Prithu, Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared through the part of his potency to protect the people of the world. And Lakshmi is the constant companion of the Lord, and she incarnated partially as Archie to become Prithu's queen. Whenever one sees an extraordinary power, he should conclude that specific partial representation of Supreme Personality of Godhead is present. Not all Vishnu Tattvas, but Shaktavesha Avatara, and Prithu was the Shaktavesha Avatara, and Archi was Shaktavesha Avatara of Lakshmi. All the Brahmanas, they highly praised and glorified the King Prithu, and the best singer of Gandharva, Loka, they chanted the glories. The inhabitants of Siddhaloka, they showered flowers and beautiful women in the heavenly planets. They danced in ecstasy. Conch shell, bugles, drums, and kettle drums vibrated in outer space. Great sages, forefathers, personality from the heavenly planets all came to the earth from various planetary systems. Brahma, who is the master of the entire universe, he already saw the lines of Vishnu's palm on Prithu's right hand and the impression of lotus flower on the soles of his feet. Brahma could understand that Prithu was a partial representation of spiritual personality of Godhead, one whose palm bears the sign of disk as well as other such lines should be considered a partial representation of the Lord. Before accepting someone as an incarnation of God, one should verify the identity according to the symptoms mentioned in the Shastras. Because without these symptoms, the pretender is subject to be killed by the authorities for pretending to be an incarnation of God. In this coronation, the learned Brahmanas arranged for the king's coronation. The people from all the directions collected all the different paraphernalia for the ceremony, and everything was complete. All the rivers, seas, hills, mountains, serpents, cows, birds, animals, heavenly planets, earthly planet, all other living entities collected various presents according to their ability to offer King Prithu, exquisitely dressed with garments and ornaments, and he was coronated and placed on the throne. The king and his wife Archie, who was also exquisitely ornamented, and she was appeared like fire. Kuvera presented a golden throne. Varuna presented umbrella that constantly spread fine particles of water and was as brilliant as the moon. Vayu, he offered two chamaras. Dharma offered a flower garland which would expand his fame. King of heaven, Indra, he offered a valuable helmet. Yamaraja offered a scepter with which to rule the world. Brahma gave protective garment made of spiritual knowledge. Saraswati gave a transcendental necklace. Vishnu gave a Sudarshana disc. Upendra gave Sudarshana disc. Lakshmi, imperishable opulences. All the demigod presented various gifts to King Prithu. Hari, the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead known as Upendra in the heavenly planet, presented the king with the Sudarshana disc. Since Prithu was the partial representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's power, the Sudarshana disc given to him represented the partial power of the original Sudarshana disc. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Yada yada hi dharmasya Glanir Bharata. Whenever there is a discrepancy, Krishna appear in this world to establish the religion. Krishna is the father and the maintainer of all the living entity. He is the cause of all causes. One has to surrender to the Krishna because Krishna is to Bhagwan Swayam. Sometimes people have a problem, they misuse the power. One has to be humble. In fact, there is no power greater in this world than humility. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, जगत गुरु श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय. हरे कृष्ण.